This year, Metro Vancouver had zero condo launches in the first quarter. Zero. The year before, they had 152. Rewind to 2021, and there was a lineup around the block to buy a presale in this city. People were putting deposits on units that didn't even exist yet, off a rendering, off a floor plan. Here's what I'm watching right now. The people who got in early did exactly what the pitch told them to do. They locked in a price. They waited. And then a lot of them are now completing into a market that's worth less than what they paid. I'll be upfront and totally honest with you. I'm one of them. I bought a presale in 2022. I'll come back to exactly how that went. Today, I want to show you why the presale map didn't just weaken, it flipped. And what that means if you're trying to decide between presale and resale right now. Not fear, not a crash story, just a pattern that changed. And to see how it changed, you have to go back to what the pitch actually was. Because for a decade, it was true. The pitch was simple. You buy early, you lock in today's price, the building takes 3, 4, 5 years to finish. And while you're waiting, the market does one thing. It goes up. And you walk into a unit that's worth more than what you paid. The story made real money for real people between 2015 and 2021. In a market climbing 10, 15, 20% per year, locking in a price and waiting was a genuine strategy. But the whole thing depended on one condition being true. Prices keep going up while you wait. That was never a guarantee. It just felt like one. And here's the thing most people never separated out. The appreciation wasn't a bonus. It was your payment. It was what you got in exchange for taking on 4 risks most buyers never fully priced in. Because when you buy a presale, you're not just buying a condo. You're buying 4 risks stacked on top. First one is construction risk. The building can come in late or different from the renderings. Materials can get swapped. Views can get blocked by towers that didn't exist when you signed. Next, financing risk. You qualify today, but you close in 3 to 4, 5 years under conditions nobody can predict. Then we have timeline risk. Your life stays on hold while a building finishes on someone else's schedule. And market risk. If prices fall between signing and completion, you walk to the end of a multi-year wait into a unit worth less than what you paid. Market risk is the one I want to spend a minute on because it's the one that's specifically designed to be hard to see. You drive past the sales center on day one, nothing. 5, 10 weeks later, a sign goes up, 60% sold, and something in you relaxes. 60%, the building's moving. People are buying. You are right on time. But look at what that number leaves out. It doesn't tell you over how long. It doesn't tell you 60% of what? The whole building or 60% of the units released so far, which might be one phase price stepped into the next. The number that would actually measure your risk is how close this project is to the pre-sales it needs to get financed and built. That's the one the sales center isn't built to give you. The people showing you around work for the marketing company. The live count, where the project actually sits against the bank's threshold, that's with management, not the front desk. I work in the industry. Even I can't just walk in and get a straight answer without knowing someone on the inside. So the number you can see is the one designed to reassure you. The one that would tell you what you're actually risking, the one that nobody is handing out, that's not a conspiracy. That's marketing doing exactly what it's built to do. For years, the appreciation covered all 4 of those risks. It was the compensation, which brings me back to mine. When I bought that presale in 2022, the developer gave me roughly $100,000 in decorating allowances and incentives. At the time, it felt like a tremendous deal, like I'd already won before I moved in. And if you looked at that deal from the outside, you would have assumed I was protected. $100,000 in credits. How could you lose with a cushion like that? I sold it in 2025. I still lost money, not because the incentives weren't real. They were. It's the market underneath the deal moved. And when that happens, 100,000 in allowances doesn't save you. It just changes the number you lose by. The incentives weren't the deal. They were the distraction from the deal. They had me looking at the credit instead of the one question that actually decided the outcome. Was the market going to pay me to take the risk? Or was it just going to charge me for it? I'm not telling you this to complain. I made the call. I own it. I'm telling you because I paid for the lesson a lot of buyers are learning right now. And it's not just me. The benchmark price in Metro Vancouver is down close to 8% from a year ago. That's April 2026 data. The compensation didn't shrink. It just went negative. So the buyers who signed during the peak of 2021 and 2022 are completing into a market that's lower than when they've started. And the exit that used to exist, well, it's gone. There used to be an assignment market. If your plans changed, you could sell your contract before the building finished, usually to an investor who planned to flip. That market existed because investors believed prices would just keep going up. The investors left. And when nobody's buying the flip, there's no one to assign it to, not at a profit, sometimes just not at all. Peak price buyers completing into a market lower with an exit ramp they were counting on closed. That's not a price dip. That's a trap. So here's the way I want you to think about this, the whole video in one idea. The question was never pre-sale or resale. The real question is, am I being paid to take this risk or am I paying extra for it? For a decade, pre-sale paid you. You took on the risk and your appreciation was your reward. In 2026, for most buyers, that completely flipped. You carry the same risks. Instead of being paid, you're often paying a premium for them. While a finished resale unit sits a few blocks away, cheaper, that you can actually walk through today. Early used to mean ahead. Right now, for most buyers, early means exposed. The data makes this unusually clear. 0 concrete condo launches in Q1 of 2026, down 152 from the year before. The new supply pipeline has effectively shut down at the top end. According to CMHC, there were 4,376 completed condos sitting unsold in Metro Vancouver as of May 2026. Lenders generally need 60 to 70% of pre-sale units sold before they release construction financing. And on the resale side, in a lot of buildings, a used unit is now cheaper than the brand new one being sold just next door. The premium pre-sale used to command didn't just narrow, it flipped. One thing worth watching on the financing side, the Bank of Canada is sitting at 2.25% right now. If you're signing a pre-sale today, you're qualifying at completion, not today's rate. I'm not going to predict where rates go, but if you're running the numbers on a pre-sale, run them at a few different scenarios. That's the variable that can move the picture most. So am I saying never buy a pre-sale? No. And that's not the full picture. And anyone who tells you it is always one answer is selling you something. There's a real buyer for pre-sale right now. Long time horizon, strong cash position, generally wants new construction, looking in a pocket where resale inventory is marketably thin, buying from a developer with a delivery track record. And this one is the one that matters most. They can absorb a worst case scenario without it breaking them. If that's you, the incentives some developers are offering right now can be genuine value. But that's not most people. Most buyers I talk to can find a solid resale unit in a well-run building available right now for less money, less risk, and get on with their life instead of waiting 3 years to find out if the floor plan they chose on paper actually works for how they live their lives. Here's how I work through it. And these are the 4 things I wish I had done more carefully in 2022. 1, run the side-by-side honestly. Same neighborhood, same breakdown of bedroom count, similar sizing. What does resale cost today? What do you actually know about it? How soon can you move in? That comparison alone settles most of these decisions before you get any further. 2, get a real read on where the project stands against the financing threshold and get it somewhere other than the sales center, because that's not where the answer lies. The further a project sits from the line it needs to hit to get built, the more delay and cancellation risk you're carrying. If that matters to you, that's where your own representation comes in. 3, treat any discount as a risk premium, not a clear win. The 100,000 I got in credits didn't protect me. Big incentive tells you the developer needs buyers. It doesn't tell you what the market will be worth when you close. Price the risk, not the discount. I learned that one the hard way. And 4, know your exit before you need. If the plan was to assign the contract if things change, well, that ramp is closed right now. Go in clear-eyed about what happens if your situation shifts. The whole thing in one line. Don't ask which one is better. Ask whether you're being paid to take the risk or you're paying for it. Right now, most buyers, the answer points towards resale. I want to hear from you. If you've bought a pre-sale in Vancouver or if you're looking at one right now, what's the part of this you hadn't fully thought through before you got to this video? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. If you're working through this for a specific situation, a pre-sale you're looking at, or trying to figure out what exactly is available in resale in the same neighborhood, that's exactly the conversations I have with people. No pitch, just a straight look at your options and an honest answer on which side of that risk equation you're on. The link to book a call is in the description. And if this changed how you're thinking about the pre-sale decision, the next video is how to read whether a building is financially healthy before you even sign. That's the skill underneath all of this. If this kind of content is useful, subscribing means you'll catch the next one. I put one of these out every couple weeks. Signal from the noise. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.